saying is, you're telling me that I should be going to dig and look in this garden. The fact that she beat her kids doesn't do anything to prove that there's a body in the garden. Like, you want us to investigate these things. I'm not saying I'm not going to investigate them. What I'm saying is, give me something to show that the body's there. Other than she's a liar, she beat her kids. She's done this to be deceitful in the past.
No, I think I think that she, by all looks of it, it looks like she had something to do with the plan to kill me in 1972. Okay. Her son goes missing. She had a history of beating him with household objects before he went missing. She, at the same time, is telling the police that that he left the house. She's telling everybody else she never even let him in the house. And then changes her story later when Derek starts seeing all of his stuff on the table. There is countless lies, as well as lying about the date he went missing.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
no, it must be really paranoid, but it certainly shows suspicion on my part for what could have happened to my brother.
So it gives you, all of what you've just stated, gives you suspicion that he's buried in the garden.
Yeah, as well as the fact he never used the garden again after he went missing. Even though I still had seeds in the shed, Derek there to work as free labor. Yeah, well, what do you think happened to my brother? You think he just walked out with a blanket and a pencil holder, my mom just happened to lie for nothing?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
If he did just walk out of there...
person's investigation right now, and I'm trying to work with you here, but whenever you're telling me that we've got consent to go and dig in a garden, and the only reason, if you look at the reasoning behind it, is because your mom, in your opinion, is a compulsive liar and has beaten her children, and the only thing I've never
and she did have something to do with
your mom,
the
so
attempt
I've
on
only
my
got
life.
your story to go by. I've only got what you've given me to go by. I've never spoken to your mom or gotten her side of it. But what you're telling me is that you suspect that he's in the garden because your mom is a compulsive liar. The year that Kelvin went missing, they stopped using the garden, so therefore he must be in the garden. I can tell you from experience, there's not a justice of the peace that I've ever worked with that would give me a search warrant to go and start digging. And first of all, I wouldn't even apply for a search warrant because that doesn't give me enough evidence to start doing that.
Okay, well then you're never going to get the evidence because obviously nobody was there that night. Other than Gil and my grandmother, neither one of them are going to talk. None of them are ever going to confess. Well, they're certainly not going to confess, are they?
Well, they've taken a polygraph.
And I think I gave you ample things that showed that they would pass a polygraph since they
well,
do
yeah,
not
but
believe in evil or sin.
your opinion. That's your opinion.
I think it'd be opinion of most experts that they're the type of people that would pass the polygraph.
Well,
since they do not believe in evil and sin or death, I mean, they would easily pass a lie detector test just for their religious beliefs in which they do live in denial. They would not be candidates for the lie detector test. Okay, so you're saying you're nothing they can do, so what if she lied, so what if anything? So what if it even looks apparent that she did have knowledge beforehand of the attempt on my life by my dad? You don't even think that I did have an attempt on my life? I mean, my mom seemed to heard about it in 1972. Maybe to clear it up so that we both feel good. There's a society called Vidoc Society that is filled with retired investigators and retired police officers who will offer to look over old cases and give their opinion on it. It needs both the permission from the people involved and the police. Would you be willing to do that?
Not until we finish with the missing person case. And I told you that I would let you know before the spring, or from now to spring, to get you an answer on where we're going with this. What you're giving me right now is some things that you've already told us ample times. You don't believe your mother.
Yeah, I also thought the past history of childhood abuse should have been investigated instead of like what Detective Bagger did, just put it down as bizarre without investigating it. I thought that was wrong too. And that's exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, my dad died in vain because there was no interest at all in past history of childhood abuse, which I guess I would have thought would have been relevant.
Was this not investigated by Toronto Police?
Yes, after the Napanee OPP refused to investigate it or look at it.
In their area, in Toronto.
Yeah, Detective Bagger had no interest in it and told me so.
Well, it's not that we don't have any interest in it. We don't investigate for other police forces.
No, he told me he had no interest in it, advised me not to ever charge my dad. And actually put my allegations down as bizarre.
What?
Didn't he?
Well, then, if you're asking me, I can't comment on that because I didn't.
No, I got it in writing that he did.
Okay. Well, if you do, then I can't contradict that because I didn't see what you're referring to.
And I thought it was really bad to put my allegations of childhood down as bizarre when it wouldn't be relevant to my brother's disappearance.
I can't comment on that. I haven't seen that. I can't. You're asking me to comment on things that I'm not aware. I don't know what paper you're referring to or what documentation you're referring to.
But I have, tried to keep up to date and looked at other cases similar to this, and certainly when there's this many discrepancies and a past history there of deceit.
Past history of deceit, fine. I'm not disagreeing.
Violence towards her children. There's no way she didn't know, and she even says so, that I had an attempt on my life at the cliffs.
What do you want me to tell you, Kathy?
No, I think you just did. And unless there's no reason to go in there, no reason to think that he's there.
Well,
you're never going to check it out.
You're saying, from what your message said, you indicated to me that you have to give me a reason why you're not going to look for him. Well, here's the other issue. I have to have a reason to go look for him.
What's your reason for thinking he's not there?
You tell me why you can't go dig there. It's you tell me why I should.
Okay, will you give me a reason why you don't think he's there?
No, that's not the issue. The issue is you have to give me a reason to believe that he's there. And the fact that you're telling me, well, my mother's a compulsive liar, I'm not disagreeing with that. But that doesn't give me evidence to show or a reason to believe that he would be buried in the garden.
Well, I tell you one thing. If somebody I know went missing, and I told the Kingston City Police here many different stories about when they went missing, and if I lied about the date they went missing, I guarantee that'd be up my butt. That'd be going all over my house. So I don't believe you. Did you know I was stopped by 4 police officers for trying to hang up a sign promoting a demonstration? 4 of them. December 14th. So I guarantee that if anybody I knew went missing, I think that I'd be surrounded by cops around here if I was caught that many lies. Everything I've watched and I've read and I have studied, that's usually when people start lying like that in a case of disappearance, usually that's of suspicion for the police. So I don't understand why you're saying that I'm the only one who's suspicious for no valid reason.
No, now you're putting words in my mouth.
Well, it seems to me like that's what you're saying.
Well,
I'm suspicious for no real
what
reason.
I'm saying is that you're making allegations that your mother is lying about all these things. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I also haven't spoken to your mother to see if those things are actual. But on the other hand, if I go and say, okay, well, this is what you're telling me, that's fine.
Did my brother not confirm that she came up with many different stories after he went missing and that she did beat him before his disappearance? As far as any conversation I've had with my mom in the last couple of years is all being taped.
Well, I know that you've told me that you've taped them.
Yeah.
And you've given me some of the tapes. So I'm not... But again, you're saying, well, she's lying on the tapes. That's fine, but we haven't given your mother opportunity to give her side of the story either.
No, she said her side of the story now over my brother's case is that she simply can't remember. Anything.
What's that? Sorry?
My mother's side over my brother's case now is that she simply can't remember anything now over his disappearance.
That's not what That's not what I have in the files. I mean, she gave us the explanation as to what she reported. But, I mean, you're trying to discredit that by saying she's lying consistently.
To me, now, anyway, she's saying that she can't remember anything about his disappearance, basically.
Okay.
To me.
Okay. So the fact that she's lying to you, again,
About not being able to remember anything, well, I would.
but the other thing is how often do you communicate with her?
Not very often.
Anyway, I don't know where we're going with this. I would like the opportunity to finish what I'm doing. Well, I'm going to finish what I'm doing. And I will let you know where this is going. And again, like I said, we have to review everything that was done in the past. I can't just say, well, okay, we're starting new here and we're going to redo everything that we've done. Everything has to be reviewed. It has to be approved by a senior investigator, which I am meeting. And then from there, we decide where we go. But I can tell you that unless you give me some other reason to believe that the body is in the garden, it's not going to happen. And then the other thing is then you bring up the fact of the cliff, that your mother was aware of it. And what you're telling me is, well, she lied about this, she lied about that, so therefore she had to have known.
I'm saying that she doesn't make sense.
Well, no, there's a lot of things that don't make sense.
That don't make sense, and she confirms on things happen around it.
That's not proof. You go to a judge and you say, Judge, look at this. She's lying about this. This doesn't make sense, so therefore she must be guilty. Nobody's ever been convicted on the fact that things don't make sense.
I never told her about Cliff. I never did. So I guess it depends on who you believe, me or her.
Well, again, I haven't spoken to your mother. So, I mean, we have to get both sides here. And I'd have to go look at was she interviewed about the cliff? I'd have to review all the documents on that.
I wouldn't know if the Toronto Police mentioned it to her or not. Frankly, I was quite surprised that she even admitted knowing about it.
So, I don't know what else to tell you, Kathy, other than once we review the file and we decide where we go, I will let you know where we stand with it. But certainly to say you have to give me a reason why you're not going to dig, I have to have a reason to go and dig. It's not the other way around saying, I'm asking you to dig here, so therefore give me a reason why you're not. Give me a reason to do it. Other than she's a compulsive liar.
Other than she lied about everything to do with his disappearance.
That's what you keep bringing up.
Well, yeah, I kind of think that's important. You know, I don't know if I had somebody go missing around me and I kept on lying.